We are eating good in movie theaters right now. Tons of genres are popping right now. Let's talk about Together, The Naked Gun, and Eddington. 3 excellent films, different genres. Let's break them down in 3 different reviews. Anthony, which one is your favorite?
It's hard to pick because they're all really good movies and they're all very different. I love the body horror and the charm and the absolute insanity of Together. I thought The Naked Gun was the funniest film I've seen in at least 10 years. It was hysterical, laugh out loud. I was crying of laughter, and it was so much fun. And then Eddington, actually, the more time that passes since I saw Eddington 2 weeks ago, I like it even more than I did. And it's actually moving up the ranks of my favorite films of the year.
Same thing with me on Eddington. I honestly...
So I gave you a non-answer.
Yeah, there's no answer at all because that's a classic politician over here.
I'll
Anthony.
wait until the end. I gotta talk about them before I can pick.
Well, I'll give you my top right now. Together is my favorite of the 3.
Okay.
And I really love The Naked Gun, man. This movie was hysterical. It's a legacy reboot, legacy sequel that absolutely proved it should exist. And I think what they did such a great job of was reinventing or just reestablishing slapstick comedy in the modern era, which has sort of disappeared, but that was the bread and butter of comedy for decades, from the 1910s all the way to the 1980s when this franchise was kind of fizzling out, even later. So slapstick humor's back, and they did such a great job kind of reinventing it. Eddington, I feel the same way. Honestly, I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it. And I've been still thinking about that movie.
Yeah, I think about it, yeah.
It's sort of just like imprinted on my brain, just like COVID was and still is. But this movie, Eddington, I still, like, sometimes I'm up at night, I'm like, thinking, oh man, that third act, like, holy crap.
Ari's really good.
He's a great filmmaker. He really
good.
is. And he captured the tone of America in that time so well, and still today. But Together, man, body horror is back, just as strong as comedy, it seems like. Body horror is back in the best way possible, and I think, The Substance was a great example of it coming back, and then Together was so much fun. I had a blast. I saw it at the Vista 35mm, awesome presentation.
Nice.
And goodness, the crowd loved it. Lots of really good jump scares. I wasn't, terrified watching the movie, but when I was watching Together, my mouth was agape for at least 25 minutes. I was, jaw on the floor for so much of that runtime.
I think, and I really enjoyed Together. We can start with Together.
Yeah, let's break down Together. We'll start spoiler-free, everybody.
I really enjoyed Together, but I gotta say, my tolerance is so high.
So you're fucked up?
I've seen so many crazy movies, so many messed up movies that Together didn't really make me squirm at all. But I'm a huge fan of body horror, like a real fan of body horror. I haven't only seen The Substance.
He's a purist, everybody.
Yeah, I've been I love old body horror movies. I've watched so many of them.
What was cool is they played trailers. They had a Videodrome for a trailer
amazing.
before.
That's
awesome.
a great one.
Yeah.
So I loved the concept, and I thought it was really well directed. I thought it was the framing, cinematography was nice. It did feel separate from a lot of that we talk about, that modern horror movie vibe that so many of them share. It really felt different. It set itself apart. I like the world building. I love a little conspiracy, and this is obviously a movie that was so inspired by The Thing. So I love The Thing references, which worked really well. But it didn't really make me squirm like I thought this movie was gonna go fucking balls to the walls, insane, gruesome, gross, disgusting, disturbing shit.
Did we watch the same movie?
No, I'm just saying, after you watch Salo, it's nothing really can make you, nothing can disturb you.
I've watched movies with you a lot,
yeah.
And I still get disturbed in movies. I don't really get scared with jump scares that often anymore. There's some jump scares in this movie that are excellent, but that didn't get me because I'm desensitized, but their crowd was jumping multiple times.
But I will say what worked with Together was it kept a really nice, dark, comedic tone to it, where the jokes, I think, really worked. The performances, Alison Brie, Dave Franco, so good. It was the best performances from both of them I think I've ever seen.
Same, yeah.
And obviously their chemistry is real, and it's so palpable on screen. I think they are so good together, and the body contortionist aspects and their physical performance were just as good as their emotional performances. But they really pulled off the comedy really well. This movie was funny, and I like how the director, Michael Shanks, he wove in some really nice comedic beats that when something crazy just happened, there's a nice, fun little joke laid in there. Like after they cut in some great editing, like cutting from cutting their arms apart to cutting to them just sitting on the kitchen floor eating leftovers. I thought there was so much great tonal shifts that he balanced really well as a writer-director.
Real quick, before we continue, check out this amazing F1 poster in a light box over my right shoulder provided to us by our great friends at movieposters.com. You know the deal. They're the best place to go to get your posters today. Use our code Raiders10 to get 10% off your entire order today. We also have an affiliate link with movieposters.com. It's in the episode description of this podcast episode, or just go to our Instagram bio, click that, and you'll find the affiliate link as well. We get a commission. You get 10% off. It's a win-win for everybody. Movieposters.com. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and, the body horror gets me with this film. When you saw it before me, and I was like, all right, man, like, how like, hardcore was it? You're like, it's fine. I'm like, oh. So my expectations were high, and then they dropped in terms of the hardcore gore and body horror stuff. So I was like, oh, well, hopefully I still enjoy it. I thought it was awesome. Like, I was locked in. I was so creeped out half this movie. The last half hour of this movie was sensational. The first half is kind of slow.
Yeah.
Like, the first half takes place in a cave, like, the whole time. I'm like,
no,
are we going to get out of this cave?
I like it because it's what movies used to be like.
Yeah.
You build the world, you build the characters, and I think the cave sequence was really great because it showcased their relationship really well.
I'm not saying the cave was bad.
So James hated the cave.
No, because like
you just wanted to get right to the body
I didn't see the cave
horror.
in the trailers. I'm like, we've been in this cave for like
well,
half
I know
hour.
what you mean because once shit hit the fan, we were well within an hour.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a little better to get the craziness started earlier. I get what they were doing. It was a slow burn until it went like absolutely balls to the walls.
Burns, yeah.
I think it would have helped to have more of the insanity happening sooner rather than later, just a little bit sooner.
Overall, though, the concept was fantastic. This great metaphor of codependency, of a relationship that's gone on for way too long without anything serious happening. This couple, they've been together for 10 years, and there still has been no proposal. And the girl, Millie, played by Alison Brie, Tim is played by Dave Franco. Millie kind of fake proposes to him, which was so cringe.
Awkward.
And then they moved to a different community. Because
Dude, how about that bed scene after that? That was such a realistic, uncomfortable couple scene after a big fight or blowout, and then you're lying in bed together. Oh, man.
The relationship cringe stuff is just as good as the horror. It's done so well. And so basically that's the plot. She gets a new job somewhere, so they move. He moves with her to this new city, this new town, several hours away from the city where they're from. He's a musician, struggling musician, hasn't made it yet, 35 years old, and he's still trying. And so he's dependent on her because he doesn't have a license. He needs her to get around, and she's dependent on him for many things as well at home. Like he cooks and everything like that. So it's a great play where they complete each other, metaphorically, in the sense of the things they bring to the table,
filling in the gaps,
and then the concept of actually completing each other to try to. Obviously, the plot of this movie is two people becoming one being at the same time together, which is really interesting. And the way they get there was fun because Shanks is blending in supernatural with the occult, and I did not see the cult stuff coming. I thought there's
once I saw the bells.
The bells were the thing for me because in the trailer, it's really more of they're talking about soulmates that find each other. And I figured the area was relevant wherever they are in the middle of these woods.
I thought that too from the trailer.
And then but the trailers did a good job hiding a lot of important details of the film, like the cult stuff, like the water, what it does, and how powerful it is, and the connection between the two. But then these two, and it's all just a great metaphor where you're blending in anxiety, claustrophobia when you're not with the person that you've been with for so long. Even if you're growing apart, you're still dependent on each other, and you're anxious when you're not with them. And it was a lot of fun in just doing that with the physical element of they physically have to be close to each other once they start getting into the cult territory, and they've become compromised in a sense because of what they've taken inside the cave.
Yeah, the strength of the film and the best sequences are the scenes of the pull, of pulling together from this invisible force that creates really great elements of really interesting physical performances from both actors, and then also just like really strange shit like being pulled into a wall, like hypnotized by the presence of another, or the just I like the ideas of touching one of them. When Dave Franco's Tim touches her and gives her the massage, he's hypnotized and something's come over him. He can't even control himself anymore. So you get the sense of the urges and then that pull towards one another, which is uncontrollable for them, really well. And man, I gotta say, for me, the most the scene that made me wince was after they had sex in the bathroom stall and he's stuck inside her.
Oh my god,
that made me go like, oh,
let's start getting into spoiler territory
rough
for this film then. So basically, if you haven't seen it, go check the movie out, then obviously come back to this review, or just continue at your own peril. They get stuck in this cave after they go on a hike, and they drink from this cave well, which is a supernatural, cultish, cursed water that creates a soul between two people, or a connection between two people where they have to become one being. And if they accept it, they become one being. If not, they become a monstrous being of two being stuck together, which you'll see later on in the film. And I think it's a great concept. But once they have that water and they escape, then the connection between them becomes more strong. Until this sequence of them having sex in the bathroom stall is great, because they're growing apart emotionally. Tim, he feels like he isn't where he's at in his career. He's still got these childhood dreams. He hasn't made it yet. He's probably not going to make it. Whereas Millie's trying to settle down and like, this is the person I want to spend my life with. However, we're growing apart. He's pushing away from that. And then once they have this elixir, you could call it, then it affects Tim first, where he really can't be away from her. And it's overcoming him with just extreme anxiety when he's not with her, and severe physical spasms of connection to whether she's distant from him and maneuvering the car and he's moving around in the house, these sort of spells that overtake him. And then where he is supposed to go on a tour rehearsal for a show, she drops him off at the train station, but he's so anxious that she's gone. She goes to the school where she's at. They haven't had sex in months, and they have sex in the children's bathroom stall. It was a hot scene.
Yeah.
They have a great connection, obviously.
Then he got stuck in there.
And then, oh my god. Then that's...
For any guy that's like...
They were teasing this anyways with like lip kissing, the skin, the thighs stuck together, what do you say? It's like a sap or it's a mildew. I don't know shit about mildew.
And I gotta say, the world building's great. The performances are awesome, but the strength is like these amazing sequences that really, and we got lots of them in the trailer. We got to see looks of them, but it was great to see the extended versions of them. And I really enjoyed how they it wasn't blatantly explained, but Tim started feeling the effects of it way earlier than Millie, because he was the dependent one in the relationship. Mm-hmm. She was the stronger one in the relationship, the one in more control. Not that she was controlling, but they have that conversation. She's like, in his dream, you need me more than I need you. That's why he was affected by it sooner than she was, which I think makes a lot of sense.
That's a good point. And there's a lot of breadcrumbs of teasing of what's happening, but then there are obvious clues and hints for you to figure it out before it really gets spelled out. And I think that the character Jamie McCabe, the other teacher who Millie meets, this guy with the glasses, he seems a bit off. He seems like so positive and light at first, but then obviously we discover, and you can figure it out pretty early on because he's got two wedding rings on, as well as there's a photo of him and his former partner, and
they look different. They don't look like him.
He sort of looks like both of them.
Yeah.
And we discover that he was part of this cult that collapsed into the earth in that village, in that town, where through some sort of practice of supernatural, the occult, otherworldly powers, they've discovered a way for two beings to become one. And he was a part of this cult. He was him and his partner were members, but they've become one being. They've become Jamie McCabe, which is so fascinating and so interesting. And it gets really creepy. The bells are a great signifier of everything connecting. And I gotta say, I love how they start to figure it out on their own, whether it's Millie discovers it with Jamie when she goes to his house again, and the wedding tape's playing, and obviously he reveals it to her. and then Tim goes back to the cave and the well, and he discovers the transformation gone poorly, where if you don't open yourself and accept the connection, you become a two-being monster. And that was fucked up.
And that was Michael Shanks
In the
photos.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
okay.
it was director cameo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the double
He's
being.
the boyfriend in that couple photo.
I thought you meant the monstrous
Yeah.
one.
Maybe not. Maybe
Well,
not.
really,
They
really
probably put a
really committed to that. It's quite the cameo.
I mean, why not? That sounds fun.
That was disturbing.
Yeah, that was super gross, man. That was like reminded me of the Gollum that I like to call the Demi Moore's character in The Substance at the end, Gollum. The monstrous version of her. It's just a funny nickname that I gave her. And yeah, it was overall really great. Lots of fun. Scare. I wouldn't say this was billed as. I think marketing billed this as like a really scary movie, but it wasn't scary. It was body horror. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Like, what do you mean? What were the ads saying? I'm trying to remember.
Well, just like
you'll never be more afraid.
well, no, just like one of the like reviews, and you know they do the one-liner headline reviews.
Yeah,
and there's a
you'll be
lot of just like
puking in your
scariest
sleep.
movie, best like stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't very scary.
It's not
yeah.
scary. It's a different kind of horror movie than a scary horror movie, if that makes sense.
How'd you feel about the ending? So the ending, obviously, we're still spoiling this film where they both try to reject the connection, but then as Millie's dying because her arm has been ripped open by Jamie, Tim saves her by putting their arms together, and then she wakes up and is like, and this is like the only way to have saved you, and they're morphing together, and they eventually become one being, which was so crazy, fun to watch, and then her parents come for lunch on Sunday, and who opens the door, and they cut to a very androgynous mixture of both of them as one being opening the door. Now, as I'm watching this ending sequence, part of me was like, are they going to show what this being is going to look like, this new person? Because part of me, I think the mystery might have been better to not show, because it looked, the person looked really interesting, but
It was CGI face.
yeah, it was
It's all CGI,
blended together. For me, it didn't quite hit as if they had just left it a mystery.
I gotta say, it was a perfect ending before the parents showed up.
Yeah.
That ending of, I think the ending of them morphing together in the living room and then pulling the camera away was the perfect way to end the film.
Yeah.
And for, at least for me, the epilogue of the Sunday afternoon lunch when the parents show up and then seeing the reveal of Millie and Tim together blended into one person, it didn't really feel right, and the CGI just didn't really look that great.
The tone just like completely switched.
Yeah.
Because well, at that point though, it becomes light where you're like, you're just like them. You're accepting this, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is pretty cool now.
Yeah.
But I didn't love. I think if they had just cut before they showed the new being, and they just cut to the parents' reaction.
Cut on the. I mean, if the movie cut to black after the Facebook post, because there was that running joke of what's our last post gonna
dying
be.
BRB.
That if it cut to black after that, I think it would have been a sensational, like, perfectly fitting way to end the film.
Yeah. And when it comes to gore, there wasn't that much, really. I mean, they did a good job, I think, of doing it off camera for the most part, especially the Sawzall scene.
Yeah.
You know, advertising, I thought that she was going to be, like, chopping off, like, his dick or something.
That's what I mean about it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
But it was really fascinating whenever their arms were being, like, morphed together and they were, like, going inside of each other. But then, obviously, the Valium and booze relaxes their muscles so they're able to separate partially. But I did like the Sawzall scene, and I like how they didn't actually show it cutting flesh for more than like a split second, because that would have been tough for me personally.
That's what I was hoping for.
That's
what I was looking forward to.
whew, that would have,
You know what I mean?
I would have been on,
Because that was actually the first still they released.
yeah.
Was the low angle shot of them two both looking down at the out of focus arms on the chair.
Yeah.
So I was expecting from the marketing, and especially those great marketing from the team again behind the studio, fantastic stuff. I was expecting like crazy hardcore gore, and it wasn't hardcore gore. It was like good. It was like for me, it was a 6 out of 10 gore.
It was a really well-made movie, though. This movie
Yeah.
was shot in only 21 days, which is really impressive.
Single location movies, man.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job. There's a lot of fun facts about it. Shanks, his wife, used to work for a sex toy company, and so she, in that company, supplied free lifelike props of genitalia, specifically for the scene where he's stuck inside of her. Oh, man. And then they also obviously wore a prosthetic. So there's a good amount of CGI for when their arms are morphing into each other. But there are some moments where it's a prosthetic, which is cool when their arms are together. But overall, I thought it was a really great movie. But you can't not talk about this movie without the issue. There's a lawsuit with it.
Yeah.
So there's a lawsuit from...
Is that still happening? It's still underway?
I think it's still going on. So filmmakers behind the movie Better Half, which came out in 2023, that premiered at a couple festivals. It's not available publicly anywhere or to rent. They said that, according to the filing of their lawsuit, they pitched to Brie and Franco back in August 2020, who rejected the offer to star. And then this lawsuit came out. They said that the movie was basically the same thing. However, Michael Shanks, the filmmaker and writer-director, said that he registered his first draft of Together in 2019, inspired by his relationship with his wife, that he pitched to Franco as well. So maybe I don't know the details exactly. I don't know what the hell happened. We're just bringing it up because it's part of the movie now. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure the lawsuit will get settled at some point. But who knows? It sounds like it's just maybe a coincidence that the stories were very similar around the same time.
Yeah, they're both based off of the same ancient myth. So
yeah, same kind of idea. Yeah. I've seen some stills and images from Better Half. It's a completely different tone.
I saw a trailer. It's not a horror movie.
It's a very light kind of comedy style version of it, and there are similarities for sure. But I think that after I watched Together, I was like, this is like a totally different creative direction. But I don't know what happened. We're just talking about it on a podcast. But this
just
was
two guys on a podcast.
This was one of the biggest purchases ever for a film from, I believe it was Sundance. Neon bought the rights to this for $14 million.
Wow.
At the festival after it premiered there,
that's a great sale.
Huge.
It was South by, I think.
Was it South by Southwest?
Yeah.
South by Southwest.
Yeah, South by.
Let me check. Oh yeah, you're right. South by Southwest, March 15, 2025. It premiered.
It was
the festival favorite category. Yeah. But yeah, and then Neon got the rights for $14 million.
Yeah, it's a great sale because for something like that, if you don't really know what it's like in the business end, this was independently made for what looks like it's got to be like around between $5 and $10 million for the budget. I'm not sure if it's listed, and so getting it sold to Neon for $14 million, if that was more than the budget, that means the producers earned money already, and now Neon bought the film. They didn't make it, but they bought it, and they're now distributing the film.
I was right. It was Sundance.
Oh, it was Sundance.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought
it was 17. They did play it South by.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's where
it was sold at Sundance.
Yeah, gotcha. They were. It had a great midnight section in January there.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing is like buzz. Sometimes for me, hype and buzz can, in a way, be too much. Because I walk into a film expecting it to be the craziest body horror movie ever. And you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Sure.
Because I walked into this with such high expectations from the buzz, from the reactions, from the word of mouth of people who saw it at festivals saying it was like the craziest body horror they've seen. And then, so when I walked into this film, I was like, that's not the craziest. Like, I've seen way worse than that. It was great. But so sometimes for me, our hype machine of the modern era on social media, the hype machine just, I think, it affects movies in a negative way sometimes.
Especially horror.
Yeah.
Especially the horror genre. A lot of A24 movies, which I always end up really enjoying, but they get overhyped before they come out.
Yeah.
And then you watch, you're like, oh, I was expecting, the next Hereditary here, but it wasn't quite even close.
Yeah, and also like the marketing sometimes will be like they'll choose a certain kind of buzz, like this is a crazy horror movie, or like
well, it is a crazy horror movie.
Materialist, for example, I thought was going to be a romantic drama, but it was actually a different kind of movie.
That's a good point.
When I was watching Materialist, I was like, this isn't what I was sold. Which is fine.
But hey, man, marketing department's going to do their job, and it worked out. I mean, that movie made like $50 million.
Yeah. They did their job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Neon's, I think, the best studio marketing system. Like, their marketing is incredible.
Yeah, there's one that they've been doing some fun viral marketing where there's just an iPhone video of Alison Brie and Dave Franco leaving the gym together. And then Alison Brie takes her like sweaty towel off her shoulder and gives it to Franco. And Franco just stops, puts it over his head, and squeezes the sweat into his mouth. That's so funny. So they're doing a lot of fun stuff like that.
That's funny, yeah. That's great.
But no, I had a great time. And again, if you can ever see movies on film, I can't recommend it enough because I had a great crowd. It was packed Vista Theater, 35mm projection. Such a good time. Now let's get into the next review of this episode. The Naked Gun?
Oh my God.
Oh my fucking God, what a movie. I was expecting it to be hilarious because the ratings and the reviews before the movie came out last week, the embargo once it got lifted were great. I was astounded by the positive reviews. It was like 98% Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, what?
For a comedy.
Oh my God, for a legacy reboot sequel comedy. And it did not disappoint. Anthony and I went at like 850 and we were laughing our asses off. I wish I saw it with a full theater, though. I do, because when I saw Friendship with a packed theater, it made it so much better.
Yeah.
But man, Anthony and I were cackling from start to finish.
I was crying, man.
Me too. I cried twice from laughter.
It was so funny. Liam Neeson was perfect for this film, and he does the dry comedy, because the reason why it works, and Leslie Nielsen was perfect for it as well, because as an actor, and Pamela Anderson also,
the line delivery for everyone's great.
They play it straight, so they play it like what they're doing is serious, and that's why it's so funny. And my God, it just works so well. I haven't seen this. I think this is the best slapstick comedy since Scary Movie 3, and that was a long time ago. This movie, it worked time and time again. Especially the first 20 minutes of this movie, every joke hit so hard. I was dying, and it's what makes it good. And they did it the right way. It's a spoof of modern action movies, and especially like Liam Neeson action movies and cop action movies, and even like the Mission Impossible action movies. And they did it the right way. Where what works with slapstick is you have to present it in the same format as the movie it's spoofing. And so it's made with like this action tone and action music. They got Lauren Balfe to do the music, who's done the last few Mission Impossible. So that was just like smart hiring for composing. So, and then they frame it, shoot it, and set the story up in a way that's been done so many times in that genre. But they made it look and feel like an action movie, which is why the comedy works, because they presented it in the format that they're spoofing, which just makes the movie so good.
And Liam Neeson is hysterical. He's always been a funny guy. And even though he's done so many serious movies, Oscar-nominated performance. Did he win an Oscar for Schindler's, or he's just nominated?
I believe he won.
Did he win? Let me double-check that. He's done so many great dramas, whether it's with Scorsese or Spielberg. Obviously, he's become like the aging action star with so many action movies after Taken, of course.
He's got like 30 on his IMDb for the last 20 years.
Like crazy action movies.
Yeah.
He was nominated for Schindler's, never won. But he's always had great potential for comedy. He's had some fun cameos here and there. But I think some of my favorite Liam Neeson sort of videos that I've seen or cameos he's had is the Ricky Gervais show Extras, where he goes to Ricky and his writing partner, and he's like, I want to start doing comedy. He's like, I'm a funny guy, so I've been like writing jokes. So it's like when Johnny Depp went there, but Liam's like, I want to start doing comedies because I'm a funny guy, and everyone's like, you want to do comedy? And then there's that bit, it was in Ted, where he's purchasing tricks from Ted at the grocery store. He's like, now I understand that tricks are for kids, and like he's like, is it okay if I buy these? Like, is anything gonna happen? Is anyone gonna follow me? And so he's always had that potential to kind of lead a comedy movie, I think. And he seems like he had the most fun of his career doing this movie, and it's outrageously good, outrageously funny. He is perfect as Drebin Jr. And this movie, the director, his name is, hold on, I just lost it. I had it up for a second. Akiva Schaffer. He really brought slapstick into the modern era in such a great, great way, and reinventing it in different ways, whether it's like the head slamming and the guy's face contorts into different faces. But they did such a great job of spoofing different movies. The Mission Impossible Fallout sequence was one of my favorite parts of the movie, if not the best part of the movie, where it's the fake interview with the fake you've been captured, and then there's another fake situation.
Did you get that?
That's so good. But man, they were able to just create so many great organic laughs just by thinking of silly, dumb, clever things to put in every little scene, whether it's constantly being handed cups of coffee, being handed a cup of coffee while he's driving on the highway.
Like when he puts his coffee on the table, there's like 16 other coffee cups on it.
Yeah, or like
things like he puts on a glove at the crime scene on his right hand to not compromise the crime scene. Then he picks up evidence with his bare hand.
Yeah.
It's so dumb, but it's so funny.
And then like he walks up to the crashed car, and the guy's like drunk driving. Oh, only a little bit. Like
It's still drunk.
it's so funny, and it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
But it worked so well, and I miss comedies like this, and they really did such a great job with the casting of Liam and Pamela. Pamela was so funny in this movie. Her line delivery was excellent. And then also Paul Walter Hauser, who's just Moleman in Fantastic Four. Awesome accompanying comedic performance here as Ed Hawkins Jr. And then Danny Houston, who plays villains so often, was just great as a villain.
It's great to have him be the villain because it's great. And the plot device.
Yeah.
And the movie, it's just like what I was saying with how they use the filmmaking of what they're spoofing in this film. Like it opens with like an intense action scene with the Hans Zimmer brass, and we get the cool villain. Like the way they shot it was perfect because it's a perfect spoof of the genre and what it's become and how it's popular, whether it be the filmmaking or the music. And it's just like these overly complex end of the world plots that they just make fun of so much in this movie. It was perfectly done, I think, and it was just a perfect spoof of what the action genre is. And man, I gotta say, because the thing with a lot of comedies is after the first act, after the first 30 minutes, they generally lose their funny bone.
Yeah, it wears out its welcome.
This movie did tinker out a little bit, but it had still some very big laughs throughout the course of the entire runtime. Like there were jokes throughout to the end of the movie that worked really well, and I think that I can't remember a comedy that's had that since Scary Movie 3.
Well, I think Friendship's
a
great comedy this year. So that's what I mean, like 2025 comedy, 2 movies, comedy's back, guys. But I think one of its strengths was every 5 minutes you're gonna laugh out loud.
Yeah,
and the crowd loved it. I mean, there may be like 20 people there besides us.
Not bad for 8:50 a.m.
Yeah, for 8:50 a.m. it wasn't bad on like a Wednesday or a Thursday. But in addition to the consistent humor that really landed, the runtime's short. It's an 85-minute movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Like I said, there's a bit of a dip here and there. And when it comes to tone, it felt so much to me like Threat Level Midnight in the tone.
Yeah.
Michael Scott's movie.
Absolutely.
It's just a ridiculous evil guy with this dumb plan to take over the world. He wants to create a utopia for the elites and make everyone else kill themselves with this ridiculous plot device. And the opening bank heist is to get inside of a private vault. Inside, what are they called? The little drawers. Safety deposit box.
Yeah.
And the guy takes out this electronic device that's plot device written on it. It's just so silly and fun and camp. And it's goofy, it's spoofy. And I haven't seen a comedy do the spoof this well since the Scary Movie era. You're right. Scary Movie 3 was like the last great, I think, comedy spoof.
Yeah.
There have been some movies that have been kind of close, but it's really been kind of a dead genre in comedy in general.
It's got me even more excited for Scary Movie 6 next year. I can't wait for that because this film reminded me how much I love the slapstick physical comedy. Because those movies are still funny, whether it be like Airplane or Police Academy, like all those spoof movies, they still hold up and the laughs are still earned and they still work. Because at the end of the day, I know we talk about how comedy has changed, but this is a more innocent kind of comedy. You know, it's not offensive comedy, which means that physical slapstick will never age, I think. And this movie's an example and proof of that.
As long as you have good performers and good writers.
And the writing's great.
Comedy's so hard to write.
The jokes are good.
But man, I would say 90% of the jokes in this movie land. There are a few that don't land at all.
Yeah.
I would say
the electric car one didn't work.
The electric car stuff was okay.
Yeah.
But then there was a huge the TiVo thing.
The TiVo thing.
The TiVo thing with what was it? Buffy the Vampire
yeah.
Slayer. That bit did not land at all, which
Yeah.
was, I was like, the whole crowd was like,
And they committed to that for 2 minutes.
yeah, that was like a 2-minute thing.
Like, I thought it was cute, but I was like, this is not working.
And again, not everything's gonna land in your comedy, but when you're hitting, when your projection is like 90% hitting, oh my god, it was on fire. And I think it comes to the writing, it comes to the talent as well as the chemistry and the line delivery. You know, but the chemistry between Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson's off the charts in this movie. And obviously, it seems like they have a budding romance now off the screen, which is really sweet and really nice to see in the marketing campaign.
It was a Chinatown vibe.
Yeah, kinda,
Absolutely
yeah.
Chinatown
Yeah.
vibe. I loved when one of the officers said, "There's a woman waiting for you in your office," and then he saw the silhouette of her in her curvy body, and then he opens the door. It's like a coat rack.
Over here, detective.
That was so funny. And then the them two making the turkey in his apartment. That was so funny with the dog, the turkey face turned the dog.
I know, dude. I was dying. There's so many. Like, this is a movie I can't wait to rewatch.
Yeah,
I cannot
can't
wait.
yeah.
When was the last time you saw a comedy that you actually wanted to rewatch?
This year, the first. I mean, the
Friendship
last time
and this.
before this year.
Game night.
That was 2014.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god,
It's been a while.
I can't think of a
The
straight
Nice
up,
Guys.
a straight up comedy. That was 2012.
The Nice Guys is 2012.
Yeah, that's
Are
an
you
old
sure
movie.
about that?
The Rock had hair in that movie.
No, The Nice Guys.
Oh, The Nice Guys. That was still 2015.
2016.
That was a long
That's a
time
while.
ago.
That's probably the last one.
Yeah, that's got to be the last one.
Because the other guys was 2010, which is one that I've rewatched. But yeah,
Jesus.
The Nice Guys for me, the last great comedy before
Yeah.
Friendship and before
Yeah.
The Naked Gun.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which sucks. Because comedy's amazing. We love
But again,
comedies.
like this movie's gonna be a hit.
I hope so.
There's like, because we went in the morning because we were looking at showtimes the other evening, and 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock showtimes were packed. Like they were pretty full.
They need it to be a hit. And so this budget for this movie was, I think it was $42 million to produce this movie.
Oh, this will make 100.
If we'll see, because it opened to...
It'll make over 100
I think it opened
globally.
to 17.
That's great for a comedy. That's
For
a great
comedy,
opening.
that's pretty good. Let me double check the numbers on that.
That's a really good opening.
But yeah, if it can make 100, I think that would justify them making a sequel, which I hope they do, because this movie was hysterical.
I loved when at the crime scene, after they were done with the crime scene in the
Projected 15 to 25 million opening.
That's great. To get the car out of the basin, they used the grabber from the toy grabber. This movie's so ridiculous and over the top, and I loved it so much. I thought it was great.
Some really good cameos too, like
Yeah.
Dave Bautista,
Fill it in while he took a bathroom break.
Weird Al Yankovic. But also, I believe the way they produced it, I was reading a story, an interview with the filmmaker, and they kind of like shot the bank sequence to prove to Paramount, like, hey, give us a budget. And they just had a bunch of day players come. And so they're filming the opening sequence as kind of a pitch. And then Liam Neeson just like turns to the camera at the end of the scene. He's basically like, "Come on, you pussies! What are you waiting for? Just give this movie a budget. Give your number crunchers the pencil and just let's do this thing. Like, what are you waiting for?" Like,
That's great.
Just antagonizing and berating the people behind the studio to
I'd
like
love to watch that.
give us a budget, which is a lot of fun. And Busta Rhymes is the most random cameo as well. But
his body cam footage.
oh my god, the body cam sequence. The chili dog.
I had 5 more that day.
He hides into the corner of the room in the shadows.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Oh my goodness,
I
man.
love how he pulls over a guy. He pulls out a handgun. He's like, "Oh, this isn't mine." He's like, "Oh, you're good to go. I have to leave. Have a good
You
day."
seem like a good guy.
You seem like a nice guy. Oh
You
my
shot
God.
my brother. There could be 1,000 people.
Shot him in the back, unarmed.
Could be 100.
He was white.
Oh,
You're Tony's for brother.
how's Tony? How is Tony? Oh my god, dude, so fucking funny.
Oh man.
And what's good is it doesn't overshadow the past Naked Guns.
Not
You know,
at all.
It maintains the slapstick, but it's a different kind of style, more modern. But it pays homage in a great way. It's not trying to be the old one, I think, which is a lot of sequels and reboots. They end up kind of trying to erase the past. This one's, homages the past in a great way, but just kind of reinvents it for the current time.
Yeah, it was. I think it was because we watched those movies when we were kids, and Leslie Nielsen was always so funny.
Yeah, he was.
And he played that straight perfectly. That's what makes the slapstick work.
I still see clips of those movies like
Yeah.
on social media, which is great.
Yeah, it's so good. And something like the Pink Panther franchise is similar with that great slapstick. Mr. Bean, those movies, as well as the Rowan Atkinson's other films, he was like as good as Leslie Nielsen with the slapstick.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson, I was like so pleasantly surprised at how good he was in this movie. And
I knew he'd be good,
he was
honestly.
he was perfect for the movie. He was the perfect actor for this role.
So isn't Lauren Balfe composing the
Yes.
music, because the Mission Impossible Fallout sequence of this movie, the spoof was spot on. And it's where they arrest the guy and they knock him out unconscious for 3 days. Then he wakes up in a hospital bed, handcuffed to it.
Fake
with
news
Frank.
story.
Fake news story that, the guy's plot has been figured out. Kane's been arrested, and they get the confession out of him. And Frank's like, "Did you get that?" And then
The walls collapse.
Internal Affairs has been listening to him because he coerced a confession out of them. But then he has Internal Affairs is being investigated by somebody else. "Did you get that?" And it's
Those
just-
walls collapsed.
and then there's an LCD screen that collapses, and it's just so fucking funny. But then with Lauren Balfe's music that was so accompanying to the Fallout score with the strings and the brass, and
Yeah.
it sounded so similar, and it was done so well with love, and I think with just a fun tone. It just was an amazing sequence, I think, for comedy.
Yeah, Lauren, because we love Lauren, and he's been making so much music in that genre, and the genre's music has become a certain kind of music that's used a lot. And
Did you mean action?
yeah, action. And he spoofed it so well, like spoofing himself, which is so brilliant to think of like a composer doing that. I loved it.
Yeah. The Naked Gun, one of my favorite watches of the year, hands down. Like, you were
me
gonna
too.
laugh. You're gonna piss your pants laughing at this movie.
Honestly, might be my top 5 of the year. Honestly,
It's that
funny.
funny,
I
man.
just had like a really good time.
It was a blast.
Yeah, it was so.
I just
fun.
wanted to go to the theater and laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just like, one-liner laughs. I'm talking about actual creative humor.
Yeah.
Very well thought out, delivered so well, written expertly. This movie was phenomenally creative.
It's like watching a great stand-up routine.
Kind of, yeah.
It's just like everything's working.
Yeah. All right, let's run to our intermission. We'll come back and we'll talk about Eddington in full detail.
Jazz
for
hands
Ari,
Eddington.
Ari Aster's
Eddington.
latest film. I'm Rocky.
Eddington.
I'm Rocky from Project Hail Mary. Now, before we continue, the best way to support the show, as you know, is become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Patreon, it's awesome. It's a subscription service where you can support us financially while getting perks in addition to access to our Discord. You can get access to weekly bonus episodes. Letterboxd Recap lives on Patreon now. We want to give our patrons a little more bonus content every week, so that's where you can tune into Letterboxd Recap for as little as $2 a month or $10 annual membership payment. You can be a member of our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast today to sign up. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. These are essential to us getting viewed by new people, adds reputability to the show, and we just love to read written reviews out from Apple Podcasts on the show to immortalize somebody forever on our show. Don't forget to also subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Social media engagement is how we get all these cool jobs, like interviewing Rob Pattinson for Mickey 17. The Superman interviews we just did, our Alien Earth interview that comes out next week. We're only able to do this stuff because you guys interact with us online on social media. So keep commenting, keep liking, and keep sharing, as well as sharing us with your family and friends. Send them your favorite episode of our podcast if they need something new to listen to in the car, on the way to work, at the gym, whatever. Send them our podcast.
Whatever. This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the #1 place to get your posters online today. Use our promo code Raiders10 to always get yourself 10% off your orders, as well as the affiliate link to give James and I a little cut of the action. They have a huge selection of pretty much every film and TV show imaginable in their poster library. And look at these beautiful posters behind James and I. If you want some Nosferatu posters, go get them there. Look at that great backlit F1 poster behind James. Woo. You can get backlit frames at movieposters.com that really make your movie posters pop like you're in a cinema. Really fantastic stuff. They have all sorts of classic movies, international films, really cool alternate prints designed by fantastic artists, collectibles like original movie poster stills, original movie posters, half sheets, full sheets, one sheets, and lobby cards for all you fans of classic cinema. They have everything your heart desires. Look at these amazing posters on our set. They're everywhere. Our home is also decked out with all of their incredible prints. For all of your movie needs, go to movieposters.com. They're the #1 place for posters. Use our promo code Raiders10 for 10% off your orders and the affiliate link to give James and I a little cut of the action.
Oh, yeah, we love that cut. Let's get into our intermission, Anthony, and begin with the movie quote competition. Are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
That's Ace Ventura 1.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Yes, it is.
Talking to Courtney Cox.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
Here's mine. When you kill a king, you don't stab him in the dark. You kill him where the entire court can watch him die.
That's a good line. What is that? Even though it sounds like a period piece, I don't think it is.
What do you think?
The Gentleman.
Incorrect.
What is it?
It is a period piece. It's Gangs in New York.
Anyways, guess this movie release year, Anthony. The Big Lebowski.
This was...
Yeah, just keep tapping those fingertips, maybe.
1990?
1990 now.
1995.
1998.
Oh,
You're
damn.
way off, bro.
What year did Kingdom of Heaven come out?
2002.
Way off.
2001.
Way off.
2003.
No.
2005?
Yeah. That doesn't count.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it doesn't count because he did.
After Pirates.
Oh, I was thinking Ridley, because I know he did a movie after Gladiator. No one, I think it was Matchstick Men.
It was Matchstick Men. Great memory.
No, thanks.
But not for Kingdom of
It's a
Heaven.
good movie too.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
It was back when every actor played an OCD character.
Yeah, the caged OCD. It was hot on TV too. There's a couple shows.
Jesus, so
like
much
Monk.
OCD, so many OCD roles.
Movie pop quiz time. Anthony, in Anchorman, what is the name of the news station that Ron Burgundy and the others work at?
Oh my God, that's a great question. It's Channel 5 News?
Channel 4 News.
4!
You were so close.
Damn. It's a good question.
Technically KVWN, Channel 4 News.
I'm not going to get that.
Yeah, but Channel 4 is like...
Okay, Liam Neeson played Ra's al Ghul in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yes, he did.
What other actor was seriously considered for the role and almost got the part?
For Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. It was between him and another actor that Nolan was deciding between. Him and David S. Goyer. And Nolan picked Liam Neeson, but they really came super close to doing another actor.
I don't know if I know this, but my guess would be Sean Connery.
No.
Because he was in the talks for so many movies in the 2000s, you know, like Lord of the Rings and stuff. I don't know.
Guy Pearce.
Oh.
They almost went with Guy Pearce.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have worked as well.
Well, Nolan was originally conceiving it as like brothers.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Then it would have
not
worked,
being
yeah.
related, but like same age,
Gotcha.
and like it would have been that kind of dynamic.
Okay,
but then they
'cause it
went
was
with
like the father-son.
yeah, father
Yeah.
figure, mentor role instead. I think it worked better with Liam. He's perfect in the
Yeah.
role, and having your mentor turn into your villain was a great twist.
Yeah. Good question.
Thanks, man.
Do we have any unsubscribes? I'm going to pull up a 5-star rating.
Of course we got unsubscribes. First up, Fax Boy on 1984. Not saying Paris, Texas instantly is crazy. We got it in the top 5. All right, next up, Soul Power on the same episode, 1984. You pronounced Bananarama incorrectly. Unsubscribed.
Bananarama.
Bananara. I think there's another R in there that you missed.
No, it's Bananarama. I said Bananarama.
Oh, I said it wrong too.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get unsubscribed.
Sorry,
again.
Bananarama.
Bananarama. All right, Ziggy. James, stop kissing Kevin Bacon's ass, or I'll have to unsubscribe. James, you got it. I mean, you should watch the clip. You were like glowing over him. You were like,
God forbid. I think the guy's got some good charm.
all right, Daniel. The main character of Neverending Story is Bastian, not Atreyu. Unsub. Nah. Nevermain's all good. What one of you didn't know the name of Falcor, though?
Anthony.
The dog?
Anthony.
Unsubscribed.
It's a flying dragon, Anthony.
Bobby. Unsubscribing because these guys don't like the Ghostbusters Legacy sequels. I don't think anyone does. Ibarra. Loved the Anthony jump scare at the end. Scared me through my audio only. I phoned in a movie we forgot from 1984 with my phone.
You what in?
I phoned it in.
You phoned it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I'd wait until like it's an hour 10 into it.
Yeah.
But I did like a phone recording of it.
Gotcha.
It's pretty funny. It was Fanny and Alexander.
Gotcha.
Like, gotta have that. Gotta put that in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have been pissed if that wasn't in there.
Hey, I'm glad you did.
Gotta maintain our rep of like knowing movies. Tiny Raccoon. 8 Christopher Nolan movie films? Unsubscribed.
Yep. Movie films, baby.
Christopher, honestly, I'm so sick of James talking about Kevin Bacon. I'm going to have to unsubscribe. Talk about someone else for once. Just joking. Great episode. Andy Connell. Anthony hates Temple of Doom? Unsubscribed. Worst movie ever made.
We got that on record.
Emma Elizabeth. Unsubscribed because of Brad's hair. On Movie News. Daniel, on our best investigation films ever, which was a really good episode. You never said the title of the Richard Gere Ed Norton film or showed a graphic. I had to launch my own investigation to find the title. Might write a screenplay about this experience. Unsubscribed. Lego. You haven't heard of the up-and-coming producer Stephen Curry? Unsubscribed.
Stephen Curry. That was funny, man.
I deserve that one. All right. That's it for unsubscribes, everybody. Thanks for sending them in. It's always great to get a little laugh.
We have
at our expense.
A great 5-star written review from Film Mike 01. 10 out of 10. No. These guys go to 11 5 stars. Was introduced to this podcast by a random share on Instagram about the Indiana Jones episodes. What did I say? Not a big podcast guy, but as a childhood favorite, I gave it a listen, and I've listened to every episode since, and I've slowly been making my way back through your episodes with so much hate and unnecessary negativity. It's so refreshing to find people who have a genuine love for films and filmmaking.
Believe it or not.
Taking it all in, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and showing people you can enjoy whatever you like, and that is okay. Your in-depth analysis are informative, and your banter is fun and light. I'm always smiling and cracking up listening to you guys. I won't be unsubscribing anytime soon, and though I still don't know where this is from yet, a phenomenal is in order.
Phenomenal.
Oh, you'll get there, Mike. You'll get there.
Phenomenal.
Thanks so much for new listener discovering us and going.
Should we tell Mike what it's from?
Let him discover on his
Yeah,
own.
but I'm not sure we specifically said lately.
It's there.
I want to tell Mike.
Okay,
Mike deserves to know.
Yeah, Mike. This is
it's
where
from the Eminem song "Phenomenal" from Southpaw.
Yeah, but then we said
turned-
it for
yeah.
a year straight in every
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And phenomenal.
And now it's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Now you're privy to now, and you're part of.
All caps.
Thank you. We appreciate it, Mike. Welcome to the show, Anthony. What is your streaming recommendation?
The Green Knight on Amazon Prime. Really cool David Lowery movie. Mike Lowry.
Quest movies, man. They're the best.
Quest.
My recommendation is Clueless. It's on Netflix, Paramount, and Peacock. Just a perfect high school movie, man. Great comedy.
I'm not sure I've seen that movie all the way through.
Really?
I don't think I have.
I think you should watch it. I think you'd really enjoy it.
I can't remember any scenes from that movie.
You don't remember any scenes from Clueless?
I don't even know what that movie's about.
Well,
I don't even know what happens in that movie. I just know that she wears a yellow plaid outfit. That's all I know.
well, she's trying to defuse a bomb that's going to go off. On that note, let's get back into our episode. We're going to finish up with a review on Eddington, the latest film from Ari Aster.
Pedro Pascal's third movie in theaters.
Fourth.
What's the fourth?
He had
Materialist, Eddington, Fantastic Four.
But he also had Freakier Friday. Or no, Freaky Tales.
Freaky Tales.
Freaky Tales.
Yeah, Freaky Tales.
And then The Last of Us.
I'm saying theaters.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What else is he in? Didn't he play Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning?
Yeah, he did. He filled in.
So yeah, starring Pedro Pascal as well as Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone. Now, like Anthony and I said at the beginning of this movie, we saw this a couple weeks ago when it came out, and we both enjoyed it at the time. However, we're a bit, off about the third act of the film, the last like 25, 30 minutes, it takes quite the tone shift. But at the end of the day, I've been thinking about it ever since still. And it's been growing on me more and more. And this is a movie that I definitely want to rewatch soon. And it brilliantly captures, like a fucking time machine, what life was like in 2020 when the lockdowns were just starting up, when mask mandates were just happening, and everyone was just in their own little bubble, metaphorically and physically, and not interacting with people and turning on one another, and just the craziness that ensued in that era.
Yeah, it was such a accurate depiction of this weird time in our lives that everybody went through, everybody shared. And the more I think about this movie, the more I like it. And I really liked it when I saw it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. There's just I love the third act because it's this crazy bombastic insanity. It's just a couple of things in terms of character motivation I didn't love. And I still don't quite love a couple of the decisions that especially our lead character takes. That being said, I think the movie was so smart, really well written, so well directed. I think Ari is such a great director. I love how he moves his camera. I love how he uses deep focus. He actually uses wide-angle lenses all the time, and you can actually see the sets, and you can see what's happening on screen. It's not the background's not always out of focus. I saw another new movie recently, and like so much of the dialogue scenes, it's just soft backgrounds, and it's really nice. He comes from being a fan of older cinema, so he shoots his films in that way, combined with contemporary technology. There's a lot of crane work in this film, which is really great. The way he moved his camera in new ways. So I think he's actually improving as a director of films. The cast is great. I think that Pedro and Joaquin played off each other really well, and Emma Stone's a lot of fun. Austin Butler's awesome. He just isn't there for that long, which I think I would have loved to see a little bit more Austin, because he's so engaging on camera, and I think he's just turning into, I think, one of the great actors of his generation. So I'm always looking forward to seeing what he has in store. Emma disappears like she always does, and this is, I think, my favorite Pedro Pascal role. Maybe. I think he's really good in this role. It's a very nuanced, understated performance. Everything about it is great. And then Joaquin, I think, unrecognizable. So good. Cliff Collins Jr., awesome. So good.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was him until the movie was like finishing up. I'm like, oh, that's him.
That's crazy.
He's a cool guy.
And
great actor.
Yeah. And I think that there's so many layers to this film. And ultimately, what it captured so well, and what the story I think is about, is, this kind of limbo-esque insanity that we were all stuck in. And everybody turned on each other. Everybody was fearful of their lives. Nobody really knew what the truth was. Nobody really knew what was going on. And everybody just started using statistics that they found online as evidence and proof to behave a certain way and to turn on each other. And to, in a great line from Joaquin Phoenix, he says, to Pedro Pascal's character, I'm a better person than you are. Everybody had this like self-righteous attitude of like, I know what's going on. I know better than everyone else. And everybody singled themselves out and turned on everyone else.
Yeah, basically, I think what Ari was doing with this small town was exploring the entirety of America at the time. Because even small towns that were so far away from protests, riots, outbreaks, they were still experiencing socially everything that was happening in big cities around the world. And which is just wild to think about. And, this was a time in life that we're all going to always remember COVID. And this movie's a great freaking time machine, future civilizations, aliens, whatever. Look back. This is what it was like. This is how crazy we went. But what Ari does a great job of is putting a magnifying glass, not just on like one subset of people or a specific opinion, on everyone. He shows the hypocrisy of all kinds of things that were happening. He shows the lunacy of everyone's behavior, whether you're in left, right, center, whatever. Everyone's got like a magnifying glass on them. And I think it was really clever to do it this way, because when we all reflect on that time, we kind of all pretend like we weren't acting the way we were acting. Or a lot of people specifically don't. And they might forget that they were turning on each other. And they might forget that it was like fucking 1984. People were calling on people to get them fired for specific things.
Yeah.
It was madness. It was the Wild West, which is, I think, why he said it in a small Western town, because it felt like the Wild West in a lot of ways. And I love the way this movie plays out. Basically, if you were on, like, I was never really active on Twitter until 2020 because we started the show, but also because COVID and lockdown. And what I learned with Twitter at the time before was during the Boston Marathon bombings, was Twitter was like the ultimate source of fast news. You're getting a bunch of stuff, some of it's inaccurate, but you were getting ground news immediately. So that was the first time I saw the power of Twitter as a news source. And then 2020, it was just, everyone was just kooky nuts on Twitter, fighting, yelling at each other, getting each other canceled, calling each other out, ratting each other out for things. And it was just, then Eddington's like what it was like in real life, like basically Twitter in real life in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And people turning on politicians being seen for the two-faced liars they often are, taking advantage of people just to get votes, taking advantage of specific things just to seem better. And Pedro's so great in this movie. I think it's one of my favorite roles he's ever done as well, because he plays a classic politician, just like handsome, articulate, nice guy on the surface, says all the right things.
Promo video.
But in the privacy of his own home, can we shut this bitch up? Like, it's just hysterical what he does. And then the wall of toilet paper in his house. And then Joaquin Phoenix plays a sheriff who's sick of everything that's happening. They are going to go to war with each other to get up for re-election. And basically that's the setting of the plot for the movie. But then everything that happened with the lockdowns, with the protests, with the younger people, the younger generation, and they start to come into the town too. So he fused in every aspect of life, in specifically America, in 2020, during lockdowns, during protests, during COVID, into this crazy bonkers 2-hour story, which has a wild, insane 30-minute climax.
Yeah, he captured. There's this great line that it's always an important thing that I always try to keep in mind is the more information you know, the less you know. And this was a time where everybody was just gathering as much information they could, thinking that it was all true, thinking everything they were reading was correct, and thinking everything they saw on an Instagram story was true, and they're gonna make it their entire lifestyle, what they read on someone's Instagram post. The more you know, the less you know. And I think that this film was a perfect depiction of like how people were just like fighting with each other, throwing statistics around, not even understanding what the statistics even are. And just because, there's this great line where someone said, I love how you can always tell when someone just learned something new in social studies class. Just because you just learned this information doesn't mean that you understand it better than anyone else.
Or the context of it.
Yeah, the context of it too. So I think that this movie was a great example of this idea of the more you know, sometimes the less you know. And I think we were obsessed with obtaining what we thought were facts and what we thought was, and it's like there was a time where every day something new was coming out in terms of information, and sometimes it contradicted what we learned last week, and then this month is different from last month, and I think this movie showcased like how unpredictable that was and how it affected people, making people turn on each other and making people believe things that change their behavior towards their friends. And also the social influence of, if someone I'm interested in likes a certain kind of viewpoint, I'm gonna, get into that same kind of viewpoint to make me appear more attractive to them. And so social influence to believe things that maybe you didn't quite believe or aren't comfortable with, you'll then believe it vigorously and lead your life through that because you want to appear more attractive to other people.
Exactly, like the young boys who are trying to get the affection of this girl, like who can be the most, quote-unquote woke with their protests, their riots, and this young kid just getting this crazy new political philosophy just because he's trying to get this girl to like him.
Yeah.
And then
same thing as like just getting into like a band because a girl likes a band.
Exactly,
Same thing.
So it's just so funny to see Ari critique social engineering, whether it's organic or whether people realize it's happening to them, whether it's from social media, TV, or it's just wanting to fit in. And it's so interesting to see the conformity of so many different types of people in this movie, which happened to everyone at the time. And obviously the poster, that's the metaphor for the poster of the bison jumping off the cliff. There's one bison that's falling down the cliff. There's one bison that's jumping off the cliff. And there's a bison behind the other two who's about to jump off the cliff. Why is it jumping off the cliff? Because the other ones are jumping off the cliff. And I think he's showing the paranoia, the mass hysteria, the mass conformity of different paths that people were taking. And just like the internet's always been, if you search for a specific thing, you're going to find that specific thing.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get the other answers or the counter arguments. And that's basically everyone's like leading themselves into these paths of isolated denial of the other side, but also isolated opinions that just benefited what they thought was true or what made them feel better about themselves.
What made Ari such a perfect director and writer for depicting 2020 was, and I think so many other filmmakers would have gone one-sided in whatever direction.
100%, yeah.
What I really appreciated from Ari was that he researched the fuck out of this movie. He researched every kind of possible viewpoint, perspective, opinion on every topic. And he put that into his movie. He didn't just research maybe what just he believes and what his perspectives on things were, and which I think can be like, sometimes directors, I think they're so single-minded when they're talking about giant issues like this or giant moments like this. I really appreciated how in-depth he was with every perspective and every voice, no matter how contrasting they could be from him personally. I don't know what he's like personally, but I felt like everybody's voice was showcased in this film. And not just to poke fun at it, not just to attack a voice, but also to showcase why would someone believe a certain thing, and why, like Emma Stone's character believing in crazy conspiracy theories, and her mom as well. And Joe's got very different beliefs from the other characters, but you don't hate him for it. And Ari's not attacking people who believe certain things. He was just showing people think differently from other people. That's just who we human beings. There's not one way to think. And there's not one belief system. And that's just who we are. That's what communities are. Communities are a combination of, like, for this community, probably like 5,000 people live in this town, and everybody has a different mind, and everybody has different experiences, and things influence how they believe, whether it be the parents that raised you or the world you grew up in or like things you're exposed to. Everybody has different opinions and viewpoints. And so Ari put that all in without, I think, really singling anything out. And he's in a way not judging anyone, but showing that, we were an incredibly ridiculous people in 2020. We were ridiculous.
And what I think was so crazy, the more I think about the big turning act in the final 30 minutes, and we'll get into spoilers now, where Joaquin Phoenix's character, Joe Cross, the sheriff, he's sick of Ted Garcia, of Pedro Pascal's character. And after all their fighting, all the controversies that are all over the internet between the two of them now, he takes intense matters into his own hands, and he kills Ted Garcia and his son. He snipes them from a hillside while they're in their home. And then he accidentally frames one of the other sheriff deputies as the murderer. Now, from this point on, the movie goes from very realistic to a more surrealistic, action-heavy thriller approach, which, when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is a very bold thing to do. And now when I reflected on this movie and I think about it more, I think he's doing it because shit was so crazy. Shit was so surreal. Everyone was losing their minds, so why not make the movie like this batshit crazy third act? And then we have these black ski mask outsiders coming in on a private jet, which I think was a bold and brave thing to do, because we've all been watching videos the last 5 years of a lot of these protests and riots, and where are these people coming from? You know what I mean? And so I think Ari, like you said, is not afraid to say, is everyone else watching the same stuff that I've been watching? Because no one's talking about it, but I've seen it everywhere. It's everywhere. We're all watching these videos, but no one's talking about these things that are happening on a specific point of it. And then this bonkers third act where Joe Cross basically becomes Rambo, which is fucking crazy. This minigun he uses to on this crazy shootout. The shootout was awesome.
Yeah.
Between him and the violent outsiders, which I thought was really well done. And, I liked the way that Ari shot his shootout and the gun sequences, because it's it was done like I'd never seen before.
Yeah, he doesn't use 800 setups and edits. It's really a small number of actually camera shots.
Yeah, and like you said, really great crane work. One of my favorite shots was the sequence where Joe, like, he's looking down the 4 different streets for corners, and the camera just follows his perspective in a oneer, which is really cool. But man, what a bombastic finale to this movie, which was just absolutely batshit crazy.
And I gotta say, when I watched the film, and initially, like the few days after I watched the film, I thought Joe's decision to kill Ted and Ted's son, sniping them from a distance, for me, that was like a little out of left field for the character. Like, he seemed like he was like, he's troubled, obviously, but like to murder a kid, I was like, I feel like he went too far with that. But when you think back on how people were acting, people were calling for other people to be killed and like said these people deserve to die just because they didn't want to wear a mask or vice versa. You saw that online. And so I think that Ari put what people were saying and how people were interacting in comment sections and social media posts, and he put it into like real behavior and reality. And so I think that's why he had Joe commit those horrible crimes.
I agree, yeah.
As like a physical representation of how people were behaving online.
Yeah, and then, Austin Butler's in this movie as a radical cult leader. And he's really only in a couple of sequences. For me, I would have liked to get a little more Austin Butler and his character in there because I thought he was really fascinating. And obviously, Austin's magnetic on camera. The guy's a star. I'll watch anything the guy does.
I like how he's always like holding himself. His physicality was really interesting.
And so it's really interesting.
He's a really good actor.
He's fucking awesome.
He's really good.
And then he basically sort of steals Emma Stone away, who plays Louise Cross, Joe's wife.
Well, but it's Joe's fault.
Joe's fault.
Yeah.
Does terrible things and runs for mayor without telling her, and then does all these things without telling her.
He does a sexual assault,
and she's already having emotional issues, and she already has trauma from the past. And then telling the world that Ted Garcia, sexually assaulted her, which wasn't true. So basically not letting her tell her story and him telling it instead for his benefit. Obviously, he leaves her. But I would have liked to see more of Austin Butler's character in this movie. Vernon, I thought he was a really fascinating take for a character. Maybe there's more scenes that maybe got cut.
I thought he was going to have more effect on the plot.
Yeah.
And his character's there to take her away. And essentially, but he didn't really have much impact on like the actual narrative plot, which I was like a little disappointed by, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it was a good character because it's another thread of the conversation that people were having with like all these crazy theories and outlandish ideas. Some true, some were just fantastical and farcical at times. But I thought I would like to see more of Austin in the film. But otherwise, I thought it was just a great film overall when I think about it more and more, with, I think, a genius ending. Because even though this movie's full of all this crazy shit, just like our world was at the time, no one's paying attention to what's really going on. And the end of the movie shows this massive new power plant energy data center that has just been constructed and built above Eddington and is consuming 100 times more power. It's bigger. And really, you can argue that Ari's saying that the whole world was distracted while we saw an immense change in wealth at the time, as well as technology that it's booming now and everyone knows about it now. But at the time, lockdowns, everyone was distracted to see the information that was happening, artificial intelligence, you could argue, all that booming and advancing so quickly, and how governments and businesses and corporations, they just become so much more wealthy while we were just fighting and not talking. And it all happened underneath our feet.
And that's from the more you know, the less you know. The more information you know, the less you know about what's really going on. Also, ruling by distraction, which has always been a ruling tactic by leaders throughout history.
Tens of thousands of years.
The Roman mob was distracted by games, the gladiatorial arena and other games, chariot races. Ruling by distraction. And then you see this with the land grab by this new tech company. And we see this happen all the time. Nobody's aware of what's really happening by the people in power because we're all going crazy, attacking each other, and distracted because we are inundated with all this information that's not really important information, which I think also is connected to the homeless man throughout the course of the film, who is a real problem, tangible in the flesh, and everybody ignores him or tries to get away from him or tries to push him away. And that's like a real problem, a real issue, and everybody acts like he's not there.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of his character.
Yeah. And yeah, Clifton Collins Jr.
So good.
I was like, when I found out, I'm like, oh my God. He was great.
He did great.
Overall, though, it's a very clever script. There's a lot going on context-wise, subliminal messaging, as well as just great metaphors and critiques on our culture that if you weren't picking up on it when you watched it, I can't recommend a rewatch. This is one I'm definitely rewatching soon. Unfortunately, did not perform very well at the box office. Barely broke 10 million at the box office on a pretty good budget of, I think, about 25 million.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But Ari Aster is one of the best out there, and I'm sure just so many actors and actresses are just dying to work with him on his next film, which I can't wait for his next movie, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, that's the thing is, like, we're in an era where audiences are straying away from challenging films, so which is sad to see. So, I mean, Beau is Afraid and Eddington, both very challenging films. I think they're both great, but general audiences are avoiding them, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad. This one's definitely, I think, an important movie to watch because it makes you look at the world a little differently.
Yeah,
in a better way.
It's the movie that makes you think. It's a kind of movie.
Yeah, and I think Ari Aster's got just balls to make
brass balls
a fucking COVID lockdown movie like this. Holy shit! That's why I love him as a filmmaker. All right, that was a lot of fun breaking down 3 new releases.
Yeah,
together.
It's been a good summer outside of the blockbusters. There's still really good movies out there.
Yeah, and every genre is hitting right now. Yeah. You know, there's something for everyone. Except for I would say sci-fi isn't really booming right now. There's not much sci-fi at the moment.
God damn it, sci-fi!
I mean, you could argue that superhero movies are sci-fi, but I think that's kind of an umbrella term. But like, I'm sure we'll get some more. I think there's more coming out later this year.
I mean, Fantastic Four is pretty sci-fi-y.
Yeah,
Space.
I just said outside of comic book movies. Did you not just
No, I'm just saying like that's extra sci-fi.
I'm talking about sci-fi outside of comic book movies, outside of superheroes.
There is nothing.
Nothing right now.
The Itza Gonzalez film. That didn't do well though.
Oh, the space one?
Yeah.
Did that come out?
Yeah, it came out a month ago.
Oh, what was that called? Hold on.
I can't remember.
Isaac Gonzalez space movie.
Space.
One with
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul as well. Ash. That came out?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it didn't do well.
It made $1 million. Oh my goodness. That's not a good performance. Holy crap. Yeah, I don't even remember seeing it at the box office. Anyways, that was fun. Together, The Naked Gun and Eddington. 3 of our favorite watches. We're eating good this year, guys. 2025 has been fantastic.
Good summer.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple, and take care.
See you next time.
This episode was executive produced by our incredible Chosen One patrons, Nicholas Martin and Jacob Kossler. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a Mirror Image production.